Today, I'm going to tell you how a box of secret tapes almost broke a presidency and reshaped American power forever. First, the tapes. Imagine recording almost every conversation in the Oval Office. That's what President Richard Nixon did. Not for a week, for years. Political strategy, private opinions, tough calls, captured on reel-to-reel. Then comes Watergate, a break-in at the Democratic Party's office in 1972. At first, it sounds like a third-rate burglary, but the threads lead back to people tied to Nixon's re-election. Reporters dig, investigators dig, and suddenly those tapes, they're the treasure map. If the president was involved in a cover-up, it's likely on those recordings. A special prosecutor issues a subpoena. Hand over the tapes. Nixon refuses. He claims executive privilege, which is basically, the president needs confidential conversations to do the job well. If every private chat can be exposed, people won't speak freely. That sounds reasonable, until secrecy starts to look like shielded wrongdoing. The stakes skyrocket. The Justice Department is in turmoil. There's even a night called the Saturday Night Massacre, when top officials resign or get fired over this. Congress starts asking questions. The country is glued to hearings, and the Supreme Court agrees to hear the case, United States versus Nixon. Welcome to Once Upon a Case, because the law isn't just for lawyers, it's for everyone. Picture this. 9 justices, 1 nation, 1 question. Can a president refuse a subpoena in a criminal investigation just by saying privilege? If the answer is yes, the presidency becomes a fortress. If the answer is no, the courts can still demand evidence, even from the Oval Office. That's not just lawyer talk. That's the balance of power. In July 1974, the verdict lands. Unanimous, 8-0, because 1 justice had recused. The court says, there is a real need for confidentiality in the presidency, but it's not absolute. In a criminal case, the need for evidence outweighs a general claim of secrecy. Translation, the rule of law beats a blanket privilege. Hand over the tapes. Nixon complies. The tapes are released to the judge, then key parts go public. And there it is, the smoking gun, a recording suggesting Nixon tried to use federal agencies to derail the investigation. Support in Congress evaporates. Within weeks, impeachment looms. Nixon resigns, the first U.S. president to do so. So what did the decision change? It drew a hard line. No one, not even the president, is above the law. Executive privilege exists, but it can't block evidence of potential crimes. Courts can demand the truth, and even the most powerful office has to answer, from tapes, to stakes, to verdict. United States versus Nixon wasn't just a courtroom drama. It was a stress test of the Constitution, and it proved the system could hold. That's how a set of tapes echoed louder than the Oval Office itself. Thank you for watching. If you learned something new from this story, please follow along for more. See you on the next one.